Welcome, everyone, to the Everything Show, episode 860. I am your host, Matrix Lord 212, and I'm with Scott. What's up, Scott?
Greetings and salutations all. Ooh, I should style my hair.
I gotta, fix my hair, too. What's up, Chris?
What's going on, guys?
All right, so what's this Rogue One theory thing?
Okay, so before we start, obviously this is potential spoilers for, I guess, Rogue One and
Is
episode
it really,
8.
though? Is it really,
Yes.
really?
Yes. If this is true, then oh boy.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
I just wanna preface this by saying this. I don't buy this theory at all. I think this is complete garbage, to tell you the truth. However, if this does wind up being true, we're gonna have to relook at the way we look at some things.
No.
And
Come on.
No. Binks is the true.
No. I don't mean like that. It won't change anything from the original trilogy or anything like that. What it will change is how we look at the characters in Rogue One.
What does that mean?
Okay, so let me explain the theory.
What does that mean? All right.
Let me explain the theory.
Am I going to get angry?
I don't think so. There's no reason for you to get angry because I don't think this is true.
Okay, good. But if it is true?
If it is true, I don't think there's a reason for you to get angry. As long as they explain it well.
All right, let's go.
The theory is this. We know that they're not making a sequel to Rogue One.
Yes.
They said that after this movie, that's it. You know, there's not going to be like a Rogue One Part 2 or Rogue One or Rogue 2 or whatever you want to say that.
Okay.
To that. They said that what if, and this theory came out from film theorists. So this is,
Is this like a Reddit bullshit that they put shit out on Reddit and all these, and 4chan and all that crap? It's bullshit.
No, because the difference between this and that is they're not saying that this is true.
Okay, go ahead.
What if this could happen? And they back it up with some convincing evidence, but you'll see what I mean when I explain it.
All right.
So they're saying the idea that all the characters in Rogue One dying doesn't really make much sense because they're putting so much into these characters that it wouldn't really make much sense for them all to just get killed off.
Oh, here we go.
And as far as we know, only one of them is supposed to get killed.
One of them.
Oh, yeah, and that wasn't even supposed to come out. So that's as far as we know. They could all get killed for all we know, but that's the thing.
Don't even tell me they're going to bring him back in episode 8.
Well, this is the idea. They said maybe not episode 8, but the idea is that what if these characters, instead of being killed off, become part of the Knights of Ren?
What?
And this is the idea. Now listen, wait. This is the thing. I originally was like, absolutely not. I'm still not convinced.
No.
However, in the art book for episode 7, the name of the leader of, not the leader, but the main art that they used for the Knights of Ren, one of the characters was called the Rogue. And when you look at the art for all of the characters, they are wearing basically the same exact things that the characters in Rogue One are wearing.
Don't even tell me the girl becomes with the dark side and then she's...
Well, none of them are force sensitive. So
this is bullshit.
The way that they were looking at this was they said if these characters aren't killed, and somewhere along the line, they either follow Kylo Ren or they go against the Republic because the new Republic starts to become like the old Empire.
No.
Now, this is the thing. Like I said, I'm not on board with this theory yet. However, they also looked at the line that Forrest Whitaker's character, it says in the first trailer when he says, if you continue to fight, what will you become?
Right.
So the idea is that they don't form the Knights of Ren, but they become a part of it.
No.
Another part that they used from an interview with Adam Driver was that he confirmed that the Knights of Ren were around before Kylo Ren.
Jeez.
Now, I am of the opinion...
Were they known as the Knights of Ren, or was...
Well, here's the thing. I am of the opinion that the Knights of Ren are the remnants of either A, the Inquisitors, or B, another group that we don't know about. However, now that's part of it. The people that I think form the Knights of Ren are a group called the Acolytes of the Beyond. Because in the canon novels, they are a group who worship Darth Vader. And they're causing a lot of problems around the galaxy in the canon novels and whatnot. They've stolen 2 lightsabers, both of which... Well, actually, they bought 1 lightsaber. And what they're looking for is Darth Vader's lightsaber. And they feel that Vader was basically robbed, quote-unquote, that he should have been the Emperor, that had Vader been the Emperor, the Empire wouldn't have fallen, or at this point that they're in, the Empire wouldn't have fractured. So I'm of the opinion that the Knights of Ren are originally the Acolytes of the Beyond. Then when when Ben Solo turns to the dark side, he either meets up with them or Snoke puts them in contact with him. And the reason he becomes their leader is because A, he's Force sensitive, and B, he's the grandson of Darth Vader. So why wouldn't they worship him because he's the grandson of Darth Vader? Not to mention, in that flashback, he's the only one who has a lightsaber, where the other ones seem to be using different weapons. So I doubt that any of the other Knights of Ren are Force sensitive at this point. That's where I'm coming from. The Rogue One group becoming either a part of or becoming the Knights of Ren really doesn't make much sense to me.
Yeah.
Because you have Chirrut Imwe, who is, as far as we know, not Force sensitive, but he worships the Force. So
that doesn't make any sense.
Turn to the dark side if he's going with if he's helping them in this.
I don't believe it.
Personally, if they went that way,
cockeyed. I'm just wondering if somebody didn't see the fan art of one and then just transpose that to the other and go, "Oh, hey, folks, look at the similarities here."
That's what I think, because it's not very convincing evidence. However, let's play devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
If they went that way, and they said that the group either A, became the Knights of Ren, or B, became part of the Knights of Ren, I'm willing to accept that, as long as you have to explain it really well. It can't just be like, oh, they were pissed off one day, and they decided to join the Knights of Ren. Something has to happen to kind of push them over the edge to be like, listen,
and even
the Republic is not working well, we have to join this group.
Convinces the rest of them, like, look at something in this way. This could be the reason. They could even go that route. But yeah, this whole thing where the Rogue Ones are the...
That's bullshit. First of all, I'm just going to give my 2 cents in. Not that it matters, but, like, that's all bullshit to me. I don't even want to entertain that, because now you're getting really freaking complicated, where, all right, if the New Republic is, like, villainous, then who's the real villain? Nobody's a hero. Nobody's a good person. That's ridiculous.
We can't say that that's even like a you can't say that it's not, because that's the way they are playing it in the novels. The New Republic is not becoming the villain, but they are not. It's not working. The government is not working well, and they're starting to. It's almost starting to become like it was when the Clone Wars erupted, with groups saying this isn't working.
So they're basically returning back to where it was in order to bring quality or equal.
I don't like it, man. I don't like it at all.
Well, what don't you like? Do you not like the theory, or do you not like...
I don't like it how the heroes that they're painted out to be in this movie, like, oh my God, this is the next big thing. They're heroes. They're this. They're gonna die. They, like, probably just to get the plans to Princess Leia and all that stuff, right? It's like they're building them up to monumental proportions, like they're superhero, like heroes, and it's like now you're going to say that it's going to be tainted, where they're going to be like against the good side because they're going to be with the Knights of Ren. That's like stupid.
Right. So yeah, I don't think that's going to happen though. So I don't think that's.
Well, what's the other thing?
The
other thing, what's this crap about somebody being in back the tank, and it's like Darth Vader has to constantly be in a tank or some stupid crap?
All right. Okay. So this is what happened with that, right? And we said this a couple of nights ago. I don't remember when, but we brought it up. There's that scene in the first or second trailer for Rogue One.
Right.
The Royal Guard standing behind a Bacta tank and somebody kneeling, or looks like they're kneeling before a Bacta tank.
Right.
And the first theory that came out was like, oh, that must be Snoke. But they immediately shot that down. They said Snoke's not in this movie at all.
Why can't it be like Plagueis or something?
Well, if Plagueis isn't Snoke, he's not coming back. Okay. So then they said, well, maybe it's not a Bacta tank. Maybe it's something else. I was on board with that idea. However, I'm almost 99% sure that that's Vader in that tank.
Why?
Okay, now this is why. We know, and this is absolutely confirmed. This is not even a thought. This is confirmed. Vader has a different suit in Episode 4 than what he did in Episode 3. There's many differences between the two suits. It's not just cosmetic. There's a bunch of differences. So he has to be, obviously, if you're going to change Vader from one suit to another, he has to be completely taken out of it. Mm-hmm. Because literally parts of his body are fused into this suit. A couple of days ago, there was a behind-the-scenes thing where they were talking to the effects guy who does the effects for the creatures and whatnot, and blatantly, in the background, there is a mock-up of what looks like Vader out of the suit wearing the same breathing apparatus that Luke was wearing when he was in the Bacta tank in Episode 5.
Ooh.
So the idea is that at one of the scenes that Vader is in this movie is him in the Bacta tank because he's going from one suit to the one that we see in Episode 4. And that's what that scene is, apparently. So it's not that he has to be in the Bacta tank or anything like that. He doesn't have to be in there. But he's in there because they're giving him a different suit.
Sort of like a between almost transfer.
Right. So basically it's kind of like this. It's like, let's say you were harvesting an organ from somebody, right? Mm-hmm. Doctors don't just take the organ out and like start tossing it around to each other. They put it in something to keep it cold, to keep it from decaying, to keep it from getting infections, stuff like that. That's what this Bacta tank does. Now, also, we see that in Episode 6, he's not as badly burned as he is in Episode 3, obviously. So it makes sense for throughout the years, maybe they tried that therapy to try and relieve, because they said that he was always constantly in pain. The suit provides painkillers into his body. So it kind of makes sense to try and salvage what's left of his body so that maybe one day he doesn't need the suit.
That's bullshit, too.
No, it's not.
No, because it is. Because here's the thing, right? He can't breathe, so he needs the suit to breathe.
He's wearing the breathing apparatus.
But, like, he lost his, like, didn't he lose his hands and his feet?
He lost all of his limbs. He lost his arms.
All right, so they're robotic. So what the hell would that be then? Why would that be in a Bacta tank?
It's not in the Bacta tank. The mock-up showed him without arms and legs. It was basically just where they got cut off in the tank.
But why he wouldn't
basically the suit
be in
would be
there?
the
It's
new
not going to
artificial
heal him where he's not scarred anymore.
Well, it does, though. Watch Episode 6. He has barely any scars on him, save for the one on his forehead. That's all. Listen, this is not a new thing. This has always been the way it's been in Star Wars.
He was in that bubble that they took the helmet off of him, and they put it back on him. Remember that?
Yes.
I mean,
that's his meditation chamber. That's not a Bacta tank.
I don't know, man. I don't like that at all.
Why don't you? I don't understand why one wouldn't like that.
Because it takes away from Darth Vader that he's like, he basically is dependent on people without arms or limbs to put him in this thing constantly and take him out. And that's
why do you think the Royal Guards are there?
Yeah, but see, that's just, I don't.
Wait. But so how would you explain that he goes from one suit to another? Do you say that he just takes it off himself and then puts a new one on? Because that doesn't make sense.
Well, but the thing is that now we're hearing the thing about multiple suits, where before it was just one suit.
No, it was not.
It was always different types of suits.
He had a different suit between 5 and 6.
Right.
It was never one suit, because if you look at episode 3, before Disney got their hands on this, if you look at episode 3, he has an entirely different suit compared to episode 4. The eyes are different, the shoulder armor is different, the control box is different, the cape's length is different.
You need to tell me that he can't have a breathing apparatus and just go into the other suit? Like, why would he need to be in a bathtub tank or...
Okay.
Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
When you get burned,
you're very sensitive to the air.
Exactly. The skin.
But look at the people that have had numerous surgeries. They're exposed to the air now, and they're not.
But wait. Nobody has ever been burned the way Darth Vader's been burned.
Okay, but
when you're exposed to the air like that, right, and you have skin that's burned like that, your rate of possibly getting an infection shoots through the roof. Okay.
Look at all the cracks that Michael Jackson in that big old tank after he had himself.
You put him in the back to tank for 2 reasons. 1, so that he's not in excruciating pain, and 2, you're going to put him in a new suit anyway, right? So why not try to heal the burns as much as you can, so that maybe one day he can be like, I don't need the suit, or I just need.
He would always need the suit because he can't breathe.
But you could just have a breathing apparatus.
But I don't know.
I mean, don't get me wrong. If he's not in the tank, okay, I'm not going to be mad. But if they show him in the tank, for me, it's going to add another layer to him, because it's like, not only is he stuck in this suit, but now he has to go through all these things that are not really going to do much. They're going to do a little bit, but they're not going to do much to try and help him. So it doesn't like shatter my opinion of Darth Vader in any way, because these are things that are necessary. Like when his suit gets damaged or something, you know what I'm saying? If they ever did a scene where they were repairing his suit, I'm not going to be like, no, his suit's indestructible, because we know.
Oh, well, we know that. But the thing is that the whole thing that he has to constantly heal because of the burns and everything.
What if it's not constantly heal? What if it's like, okay, he can only be in it for so long, and then in the suit for so long, and then they have to remove it. Otherwise, that could do more harm.
I mean, this is an advanced civilization. It's not like Earth. I mean, they have all kinds of stuff we don't even know about that they could just, it's not you can't hold the same rules to like us, to like Darth Vader. I mean, the technology.
But they're not, though. We don't have Bacta. Bacta doesn't really.
No, but I'm just saying.
Okay, in the next movie, though, and apparently the rumor is in episode 8, right? The movie opens up with Finn taking off the next advancement, which is called a Bacta suit.
Right.
Because he got injured.
Right.
So what's the difference? Like, why would one be okay but the other's not?
Because, well, here's the thing. He needed to have that because he basically almost died, right?
Right.
So he's healed, and that's it. He don't need it anymore.
As far as we know.
So Darth Vader, that's a different story. He was in freaking lava, for crying out loud. He had everything burnt off. I mean, it's like
he got burned.
He's in the suit that sustains him, but I don't know, man. I don't know.
Like I don't understand why. Like it's a big deal. Like he's in the back of the tank. He comes out, puts the new suit on, and then he's Darth Vader. Like so.
Because again, what's to stop him from killing himself? Like going through that torture for the rest of his life? That's
Why would-
ridiculous.
why would he
the
kill
suit,
himself, though?
the suit.
I mean, he's in
probably-
constant pain. He's in constant agony. He's
Well, no.
constantly
That
dependent
suit
on
subdues
people.
it some.
The suit,
Plus
the
his ability
suit
of,
gives
of,
him
of the
pain
force is
relief.
probably subduing him.
when
But
he's
like-
in the suit, it gives him painkillers. So he's not constantly in pain. See, this was the difference between and I don't know if you know this. I mean, this is something that you may not have known. In the old canon, the Emperor made the suit to keep him in constant pain.
Okay.
In the new canon, they changed that. In Lords of the Sith, they say certain things help him. It's still uncomfortable, obviously, but certain things like the painkillers and stuff, they shifted that, and they say that in Lords of the Sith that how he feels. You get from his perspective how he feels in the suit. So I really don't. I don't.
In other
see where
words,
it's an issue.
in other words, if there was no Empire and it was just Darth Vader,
Yeah.
he'd be dead because he needs them to help him constantly.
Not necessarily.
No, yeah. I mean, if he let's say he never
Dependent completely on the Empire to have the
Look at
guard
the,
around him while they put him in the back of the tank.
Look
While
at Empire Strikes Back, and Luke, he was in that tank after what happened to him. And
Yeah, it was the same thing.
I mean, the guy suffers from lava, but then he gets electrified by the Emperor and he's dead. I mean, that's like
Well, no, hold on though. The suit shut down.
right,
That's why it overloaded his suit and he couldn't breathe. He basically suffocated to death,
right,
and it wasn't helping him stay alive.
right.
Had
okay.
Anakin's been hit by Force lightning like 40,000 times, and he's
Right.
been okay. But Vader,
Now
it's
he
the
needs
reason he
the
can't-
suit to live.
it's the same reason he can't use Force lightning. It's because if he did, he would short out the suit. And that was one thing that the Emperor in both canons, had that made specifically because the Sith always betray one another, right? If he ever had to, that's the way he kills Vader. Vader tries to betray him, he fails, and then, okay, well, bye, Force lightning. Which happened in a non-canon game, he did that. But the suit has some insulation.
Right.
Not enough to withstand the Emperor's Force lightning because that's like unbelievably powerful.
And he uses it, he's dead. Like
If he
himself.
tries to use it, he'll short out the suit. And probably his limbs as well.
basically the
because-
safeguard which the
Yeah.
Emperor in.
But if he was out of the suit
Don't fight.
in a breathing apparatus, he'd be able to use it.
No, because his limbs would have to be mechanical too, and you'd short those out.
But if you don't have the mechanical limbs and he just has nubs,
Had he never, well, no, then you can't do it. Like you need
Why?
you have to focus it through your fingers or something
oh, okay.
like that. It has to be like.
It can't just be like, you know,
I don't think so. I mean, I don't think I've ever heard of a case of somebody in Star Wars using like a cut off hand or something to try to do it. I know that some Force abilities don't require arms and legs, like telekinesis and stuff. But like he can, maybe he could. I don't know. I mean, it would be a stretch. I think. I think it would look kind of funny, like lightning coming from like someone's nub.
so in other words, the back the tank cures the skin, but it can't regrow limbs.
No, and they made at that point in time, and they did this brilliantly. In Bloodline, they said that they're attempting to do that with something called bactotherapy, where they inject it or they apply it directly into where the limb was, and to attempt to regrow it. But I guess what they're also saying, if the rumor is true, the biggest advancement in Bacta, or one of the biggest ones, would be Finn's Bacta suit, because theoretically you could wear that and walk around while you're healing. So had that been around when Vader was burned, he might have wore something similar to that with
Right.
the breathing apparatus.
Well, basically, by episode 9, they could probably regrow limbs.
I would assume maybe even by episode 7 they could do so. Because Bloodline takes place a while before episode 7. Well,
So
6
why
years
wouldn't Luke
ago, maybe.
regrow the hand then?
Why wouldn't Luke? Because he
Yeah.
wasn't around to do it.
All right, but can he still work now?
Yeah, I guess, but I guess maybe he just doesn't want to do it.
Right.
I mean, who knows? That could be something that happens in 8. Maybe his robotic hand gets destroyed. And if he survives, maybe in episode 9 they regrow his hand.
Because isn't it because if it's robotic, there's a chance for him to be in the dark side because it's like not natural?
Well, no, I mean, I don't think that has anything to do with it.
I mean, didn't they tease that in the original trilogy?
They teased it because he was becoming like his father.
Right.
He was part machine, but it didn't. I don't think it had any like him having a robotic hand had nothing to do with whether or not he was going to turn to the dark side.
Okay.
Although they try to tie the light side to like nature and the dark side to like machines, sort of
Right.
like it's like a contrasting thing. But they're not saying like all nature is good and all machines are bad. It's like a mix. Like it depends on.
So we have a situation where the technology is great, but it's not as great to do those things, to regrow limbs and stuff like that. It's not that advanced in a sense where it's unstoppable technology.
As far as we know, I mean, like we don't. That's not really something that they dive into in Star Wars as well. I don't think they should.
And they clone, but they don't clone Jedi or Sith.
As far as we know, yeah.
Because they don't retain the consciousness, correct?
Yeah, you would have a totally different person.
Soul. It would just be a copy.
It's just like the clones are not Jango Fett. They look like Jango Fett.
Yeah, they suck. Yeah.
They don't act like him unless you were to somehow either transfer his consciousness into a body or have
that's another thing. If they can transfer the consciousness into a body, why don't they just clone Anakin?
I don't think they can do that in this universe. The Emperor had an ability called essence transfer, but as far as I know, that's not canon.
That was only that's not canon because that was only in the comics.
Yeah,
like Dark Force comics because he kept hopping bodies.
Yeah, but
that was never established in Star Wars Continuum.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. That's not canon anymore, as far as I know. And to be honest with you, I hope they don't bring that back because I always looked at that Force ability and I was like, that's a little overpowered.
Oh yeah. Never stops.
That means like you kill one villain and they can just come back an umpteenth number of times, and then it's like, oh, that's not, you know.
But there's no. Let me ask you a question now, because I've been thinking about this for a while.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't die, like if they give themselves to the Force, like Obi-Wan, and then he vanished, right before Darth Vader killed him, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they don't die and they give themselves to the Force, why couldn't the Force put them back?
Because they are.
They never died in the first. Well,
because they are actually dead, and they don't have a physical body to go back to.
But where did the body go when they vanished?
It turns into the Force.
So why couldn't it turn back?
I don't think they ever established that in any canon, but the idea is that they're actually dead, so there's no way for them to come back.
But they're somewhere because they're in like that whole thing.
They're in another world. They're in the quote unquote nether world of the Force. So basically, it's like this.
That's their heaven, I guess.
Sort of, yeah. They become part of the Force when certain Jedi who know how to do this become part of the Force.
Mm-hmm.
So when they die, their physical being literally becomes the energy of the Force.
Right.
As far as I know, there's no way for their energy to become their physical being again.
But they exist as a consciousness.
Then that's it.
I mean, they talk to Luke or they talk to whatever. And
they're literally energy beings. Like
they're ghosts.
They're just like they're made of the energy of the Force.
But they can't maintain that form for a little while. It's got to like phase out or whatever.
Yeah, actually, too, and I hope they don't do this because this would be really sad. But in the first Thrawn novel, Obi-Wan contacts Luke and is like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I can't do this anymore, so you're never going to see me again." And then he's gone. Him and Yoda are gone, and I don't think you ever see them again in any of those Star Wars novels or anything like that. And then way later on in the future of the non-canon legend stuff, Luke becomes a Force ghost and he talks to one of his descendants, Cade Skywalker. And I think even Luke at one point was like, "Yeah, by the way, I can't do this forever," or something like that. So it's the idea of them coming back is not impossible. But I think doing that, it would kind of be like they'd come back like Yoda, for example. If Yoda was to somehow come back from the Force, he'd probably come back in like a 900-something-year-old body, and he'd just be like, "Why did I do this?"
Well, I mean, exactly. Like in other words, he would only have a limited time in the body anyway, because it's same thing like Obi-Wan. He wouldn't be in a new body.
Yeah, no, he would be probably in his old body. And I think that they should stay away from doing that again because, again, that's kind of like essence transfer. It's like a type of ability like that where you could kill somebody and then they just keep coming back. And it's like, then what's the point? You know what I'm saying?
Right. What was the thing about burning the bodies? That I know they took that from that for Doctor Who, but
that was just that's the way that they buried.
They didn't want nobody to have anything to do with the body, like cloning them.
I don't think it had anything to do with that. That was just a ceremonial way that the Jedi took care of their dead.
Right, and Doctor Who adopted that. Like they took the best of everything, and they made it that way too.
I like that. I like the explanation in Doctor Who better because it's like you can't let their bodies get taken because you don't want regeneration to get out there. Right. But as far as I know, I mean, they were very clear that you can't clone Jedi and you can't clone Sith because something just doesn't work. But again, that's from a non-canon story, so who knows? Maybe they can turn around and be like, "Oh yeah, by the way, we can clone everybody." And like, "Oh great."
I mean, we don't want it to be ridiculous. We want it to make sense. We don't want it to be easy. But oh yeah, Yoda's back because they cloned the body and he put his essence into it.
Yeah, we don't need that.
Because then I'll be like, oh, then anybody could die and come back and.
That was my problem with a lot of the force sensitive characters in the non-canon stuff.
Right.
They made some force abilities that are really cool, like for example, force heal, where you can heal smaller wounds with the force, and the dark side force degradation, where it degrades your body. Like that, I get.
Emperor Palpatine. Right.
Yeah. Then there are some force abilities that they made that I just don't understand the purpose. And I don't mean to like ruin anybody's favorite characters or anything. I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes, but there's a character called Darth Nihilus, right? Who literally had the ability through the dark side to drain entire planets and their entire population of their lives.
What?
Like he just literally drained entire world.
Their essence, or just okay.
Like Galactus?
Like they were there once, and then he shows up and he's like, "All of this is mine."
Like Galactus.
Starts absorbing everything, and everybody just dies.
Like Galactus.
Basically.
Yeah.
But it's even worse because like
a vampire.
He could do this in like a shorter amount of time or something. And it was like, and I was like, when you make somebody that powerful,
right?
It's like a force vampire.
You know what I'm saying? Like, eventually they beat him. Like, eventually they killed him. But there are some force powers that they made that to me,
this is all still canon or no more canon?
No, it's not.
What?
It's no longer canon.
Darth Nihilus isn't canon anymore. No.
Okay, good.
It's crazy. Like, my favorite force ability, even though it is a little overpowered, and I think it's still canon, is called Shatterpoint. Where certain force, it's a very rare force ability, and I believe that force sensitive have to be born with it. But it allows them to see what they called faults in the force, and through those faults, they could perceive things better than other force sensitives.
No, I don't know about that.
One Jedi that had it was Mace Windu,
and
basically he would use it to see weaknesses in like structures, and even in situations, he was able to train himself so much that he could see.
That's why Emperor Palpatine wanted to take him out right away.
Well, it was also one of the reasons he was able to quote unquote beat Palpatine, because he was able to see his Shatterpoint and exploit it.
But that's the thing that I never get it too. It's like if you see Attack of the Clones,
yeah,
and you've seen them leaping on cars and. All throughout the air, he gets thrown out the window. Shouldn't he be alive?
I've always said that. I've always said that they broke one of the rules of filming where if you didn't see it happen on screen, it didn't happen.
Right.
We saw him go out the window. Yes, he lost his arm. He didn't bleed to death because a lightsaber wound gets cauterized. The Force lightning, yes, does a lot of damage, and Palpatine can kill him.
I heard from a buddy of mine that Windu could resist that type of lightning too.
Well, I don't think he could resist it, but he had a way of dealing with it. But that's only if he knows it's coming. Because that's part of his fighting style, is that he can create something called like a superconducting loop and whatnot. But when he gets thrown out the window, you hear him grunt. So he's still alive when he goes out the window.
Right.
So I'm guessing what they're saying is that the fall killed them, which, okay, that's a pretty big fall. But like you said, Joe, what happens if he landed on like a speeder?
I mean, he could technically show up in episode 8 or 9.
He could.
Right
I
and
doubt it.
He'll help Kylo Ren or whoever. Like, that could be a surprise thing.
That could actually be a good cliffhanger for maybe one of the scenes. You just see a shadow of somebody, and you really, and it could be like one of these nondescript shadows. Like, okay,
Sure.
it could be this person. And then, if not the following Star Wars film, then the second, or the one immediately after it, that's when Windu steps up and says, well, thank God.
But what if he survives it, but because he lost everything, he gets turned to the dark side because of it?
Somebody there's a YouTuber on here called The Stupendous Wave who did a video about that, and this is what he thinks would happen if Windu turned to the dark side because of that. As far as I know, in canon, he's dead. They're like, no, he's dead. It's not impossible.
I mean, if Darth Maul could get his whole torso chopped in half and then come back, I mean, that's ridiculous. He should be dead technically.
He should be. They attempted to explain why he's not in Clone Wars.
I don't like that he's alive, honestly.
Well, I originally I was kind of pissed off about it too, but he's become a really good character.
Yeah, but he's got to be
a pretty good character.
Darth Vader's going to wipe him out.
I think so. I think Vader's going to kill him
absurd.
in Rebels at some point. I do.
Darth Maul could have been like the villain of the whole damn trilogy.
Oh,
yeah,
I think he should have been.
And that would have been phenomenal if they did.
I think he would have been. He should have been the villain. You're right. Yeah, I think
fans were pissed when he died. Pissed.
Honestly, I think he's more interesting than Darth Tyrannus. But I mean, Tyrannus could have been.
I don't like any of that crap either because it's Dooku.
Yeah, it's Count Dooku.
That's it. Nobody calls him Darth Tyrannus. It's Lord Tyrannus. Yeah, shut up, Emperor. Like really? Like I call him Darth Sidious. Like this stupidity here,
Well, I mean, you got to give them Sith names.
I guess.
Use them.
And now instead of Darths, we call them Wrens.
Well, yeah, I mean
that's going to be the thing,
Well, there's only one, as far as we know.
Chuck Ren and Stupio Ren, and
well, we don't know if any of the other Knights of Ren go by Ren.
Stimpy Ren now.
As far as we know, it's just Kylo Ren.
Right.
Who goes by that.
Happy joy.
Yeah, happy joy, yeah. Really? I mean, I don't know. But I would just, if I had to say, I would undo that whole, always two there are. Because that's just the stupidest war I've ever seen. Ever. I got to tell you, when I saw them talking to each other, and Darth Maul's like, at last we'll reveal ourselves as a Jedi. At last we'll have our revenge. I'm like, oh, that whole thing is Sith world right there. I was like, everybody's Siths chilling with hoodies. That would have been so much better. And now we got to wait till the Knights of the Republic to have something like that. But whatever. This was a good cast. Had fun. Right?
Always fun.
We had some good casts lately too. I mean, you have to say with Doctor Who in this. All right, guys. Take care. Bye for now.